Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Basketball? Okay. All right, so thanks. My name's Maureen Tang. I'm from St. Peter's, North Wales, and it's really a pleasure to talk to you today about what we've been working on. Pastor Jackson and Mr. Heyman are here with us, and I'm going to update you on what the Urban Ministry Task Force has been doing for the past 6 to 9 months. Next slide. Okay, so just as a reminder, the resolution on the Urban Ministry passed the Synod Assembly last year, and you can look at all the details online. It's posted. But just briefly, why urban? Well, there's a real need for ministry. Our cities have a lot of material poverty. They have a lot of spiritual poverty. And also, the ELCA has made some very public statements on diversity and to Lutherans of African descent, and we want to uphold that commitment. Next slide, please. So in the resolution, there are 3 things that are addressed. There's pastor compensation, there's buildings, and there is professional development, like internships. And for each one of those, we sort of said, well, we need to know how much these things would cost. If we could wave a magic wand and make all the problems go away, how much money would we wish for? And then how do we support that? And so far, we've got through one of those 6 things, but we're making progress, and we ran a survey, we did some math, and came up with some answers to that first question. So I'm going to walk you through how we did the math. We sent a survey to all the city churches, and you can look at the details in our report, and we asked the churches a couple things. We asked them how long has your minister been serving? How many hours per week is he or she contracted to work? And do you have a parsonage? So we took that, and we took the housing costs for the neighborhood, which we looked up from the zip code, and we put that into the Synod guideline calculator, and what comes out of that is the cost of the salary and benefits, either at the current call, like however many hours a week that is, or the total call, the full-time call. And then we took how much they actually make. So that's the actual salary and housing. Some churches gave us the exact number, some gave us a range, and we just said, well, we'll take the middle of that. And is there health care, is there retirement? And we asked some other things too, but you can look those up. Right, and so I told us 2 things. One is the difference between what they should and actually get, and we can look at that as racial inequality within the city, and it also tells us how much money we would need to provide the guideline salaries and benefits. All right, so here's some answers. We asked, what kind of pastor do you have? So on the far left is all the congregations. You can see about half of the city churches have a full-time called pastor. But if we break that into the churches who are mostly white and the churches who are mostly congregations of color, there's a big difference, right? You can see that from the pie chart. About 2/3 are full-time called, and maybe only 1/3 are full-time called. We also looked at the salary and housing, and again, big difference. If we look across the whole city, only 1/3 are at Synod guidelines, but there's a big split by race. About half of the white congregations are at or near guidelines, and much smaller in the congregations of color. Right. And then finally, benefits. Again, same story. You can see the blue is both retirement and healthcare. Orange is one or the other. Gray is none. And big difference within the city by race. So if we put that all together, many urban congregations are struggling. It's not just, like a lot of churches are struggling financially. And yet there are stark disparities by race in calls, salaries, and benefits. And this is not a surprise. People knew this for a long time, but now we have numbers to back it up. And these congregations hold a lot of potential for their communities. So just on our own committee, Trinity Germantown has been going without a pastor for 12 years, still keeping the congregation going. New Creation leads a spiritual pharmacy to combat addiction in the neighborhood. And St. Mark's, the pastor's part-time, but he leads all these activities. Just imagine what these churches could do with a full-time pastor who was compensated well enough to stay there for a long career. So, how much money do we need to solve the problem? It's a lot. But now we know what it is. If it was current calls, it would be about $450,000 a year for salary, $150,000 for benefits. This is the 2019 guidelines, so there's been inflation since then. And if everyone was at full-time, it'd be about twice that. This is not a small number, this is not easy, but now we know what it is, and we can hopefully move forward. All right, so our next steps. We know how much money it would cost. Now we have to figure out what to do. Where can we get resources? How do we allocate resources? These are tough questions, and we're going to be going to all of you for feedback and ideas about how we can do that. We also have those two other things. We have buildings and professional development, and we're going to figure out how much those might cost, how we can do it, and to move forward to help our urban ministry be compensated and grow as we all want them to. All right, so I made it. Thanks.
So let me say thank you to you for your good work and diligent work and hard work. And I look at that and I think that's 2019 and the salary guidelines have been updated. So those numbers are going to change.
Yes.
And let me also say this to you. The ELCA is looking to us for this information because our resolution went to churchwide. And now they're looking to us to get some answers. So again, thank you so very, very much for your good, hard work. And I could say some more things, but I'm not. So thank you, all three of you. And the whole team. And this is, see, we passed this resolution last year, and this is what we do, and this is what they do at Churchwide. We pass these resolutions, and we don't pass any money attached to them. And so therefore, that's why we ask that your offering this year would go towards this fund, this group, this task force that's working towards dealing with all of the things that you saw put up on the screen. Amen?
Amen.
Again, thank you.